Hey crafty friends, today we're making this beautiful password keeper slash folio. These are perfect for holiday gift giving. They go together super quick and they also are great for craft fairs. So if you are a crafter who sells at craft fairs, stay tuned. I'm going to be making these in two sizes and I have some freebies for you. So let's get to making.
In a fun junk journal dream, DJ's crafting grungy scenes. Hither and yon, where friends all meet. Paper glue and vintage treats.
Hello everyone. Welcome to Hither and Yon Studio. I'm DJ. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. And if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I play with paper and I hope you guys do too. We're going to do something a little different today. I made this beautiful password keeper for my July design team project using Paper Rose Studio's beautiful packs. And I thought I would show you how to make one. And actually, we're going to make a second one in a different size. But I wanted to give you a little more of an inside look. It holds together with just this simple twine I made out of, or closure I made out of baker's twine in this pink color. And I'm just wrapping it around one of their quick card circles. This piece on the front here is a free template I'm going to give to you today. And it just opens up, and inside it's very simple. This is a 12 by 12, and your password keeper is here. Nothing written on the front. We want to keep it discreet, right? It's a password keeper, but it's beautiful inside. So if you have a family member or a friend who likes to write down their passwords, or maybe it's even for yourself, you can create this fun little gift. It's got the website, the email, the username, and then password number of times here because, you know, sometimes we have to change the password so we can cross one out and write the next one. You could even write down the last entered date or something along those lines. It just tucks in here. And then over here we have just a little pad that comes out for important numbers or notes. You could put shopping lists on here, anything really, and you could just refill this if you wanted to, or make another one. It's all made out of the beautiful Strawberry Fields paper. I'll show you those packs, but I also have done a flip through, I believe, of them. And then this just closes up and goes around and kind of comes back like that. Okay, so I did use the Strawberry Friends Basics 12 by 12 paper collection for the one I just showed you, along with this quick card collection. And so that's what I used for that one. But today I thought it would be fun if we used the Poppy Garden by Paper Rose Studio, and I'm going to use the Poppy Garden embossed die cuts and the Poppy Garden 12 by 12 paper collection. So these are gorgeous. Guys, look at these photos, or these cut aparts. How cool, right? And they always put these lovely sentiments on their cover sheets of the 12 by 12s. But yeah, there's a lot of beautiful papers in here. I'm going to use these two pieces today. This is going to be my inside, and this will be my outside cover. And then I'm going to make my piece that wraps around out of this one. And then I thought it would be fun to use some of these embossed dies. I don't believe there's a circle in here like there are on the quick cards, but I'm just going to punch out a circle with my hole punch. And then, oh wait, what are you? Oh, nope. Okay, I thought maybe this was a circle. And then I'm just going to add one of these gorgeous pieces on top. But anyway, enough chit chat. Let's get to making. I am going to give you a bunch of pieces on my Ko-Fi site. I'll put that link in the description box and also in the pinned comment where you can go get these all for free. And there is, well, first of all, I'll give you these. There are these wraps in 3 sizes. Now, I'm probably going to have an upcoming video. If I can get it into this video, I'll do it to use these. Otherwise, it'll be in an upcoming video to make a smaller one. But today we're going to make it out of this one. So these are just templates that you cut out and you can reuse them. So you want to print them on a heavyweight cardstock, or you can do what I did with these is I printed them on an index weight cardstock, and then I took some brown paper tape and I taped the other side just to give this a little more rigidity. This one I didn't do, and I realized that I probably should have. But this is the piece that is this flap here. So I gave you these templates so you could use them, but you don't have to use my templates. You can just kind of make up your own design. And then I'm also giving you the interior parts in 2 sizes. So we have the horizontal size, which we'll do next. And I'm giving them to you in a designed one. So this one just has like a little floral motif on it. And these will fold like this. And then I gave you one that has no floral motif, so you can either decorate them yourself or just leave them kind of blank and clean in case you wanted to do this with some paper that doesn't have a floral design. And then these are the important notes and numbers for this size, for the horizontal size that we'll do. I'm also giving you the vertical traveler's notebook size, I guess, passwords. And what I did was I printed on both sides and then just folded them in half. And also the decorated one with the little floral motifs and the important notes and numbers. So these are all free for you. You can run over there and grab them for yourself and make your own. So you don't have to come up with the interiors, but it's easy enough to do. I made mine in Canva, and you can too. All right, so let's put this together. The first thing we want to do is find the one that's going to be our cover, and I'm going to use this one. I'm going to lose some of the image, but thankfully Paper Rose gives me 2 of each in the pack, so I don't have to feel so bad. But we will see some of this on the interior, so not too bad. I might lose the kitty, but it is what it is. All right, so Paper Rose gives you these 12 by 12s with the strip on the bottom. And so I like to save that to accent. On this one here, I used it on the other side, so we could do that. I'm going to measure this out to 12 inches. So I can cut that little bit off. Okay. And then I want to score it. So I want to make sure that if it's directional paper, it is going the way that I want, I want the photo to go, because this is the top and this is the bottom. And I'm going to first score over that flap. And I'm going to do that at the 10 on here. So we're creating like a 2-inch flap, and I'm going to make sure that my scoring tool is the one that I'm working with. Okay, and then I'm going to do 5 at 5. And that's it for the scoring. And now we just fold over that flap and score on whatever side makes sense to you. You could put the flap on the other side if you wanted to. I just wanted to do it this way, and so this is the way I am showing you. Now, I rounded my corners, so I'm going to go ahead and do that here as well. I like the rounded corners. It makes me happy. I'm just using my We Are Memory Keepers punch. It's got 3 different sizes, and I'm using the biggest size. In order to keep these going together quick, I am not inking them. Okay, so that's how we're doing that. Now, we did lose the kitty cat. That's okay. You can kind of see a little hint of him. But I am going to glue this down, so it's going to disappear. All right, so just going to put a dab there and here. Fold that over. And this glue dries pretty quick, so. And this is where our cover is going to slide into. But let's make the piece that's going to go over the top. I love this page, so I'm going to make my template out of this. And I'm going to have something in the center, and I want to see a lot of these ladybugs. So I'll go to this edge. Maybe we can get one of those ladybugs right on there. And actually, let me put this on this side. I know where I want it, so I think it'll just be easier to see the cut lines here. But again, you could just fold it in half. You don't really need the template if you don't want it. I did offer it for free so you guys could use it, but you could just cut out a piece of paper in a rectangle or a square and use that. That's, perfectly fine. I'm going to trace around this, and then I'm going to cut it out, and I will be right back. All right, all cut. And we can attach it here. You can fold it wherever you want, really. I just kind of find a spot, maybe there. And I'm just going to pick an area, and then I can just line this up here so that I can get a straightish line, straight-ish. Perfection is not my go-to. If you're new here, you might not know that, but anybody who's watched me work knows I am not a perfectionist. It slows me down, honestly. Okay, so this is going to go here. And then I have that strip that I cut off. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to trim off that extra bit, but I want to get my size here. And the thing about the Paper Rose paper, which I saw you guys over on scrapbook.com too, so how lovely is that for us here in the States? They give you can just buy the individual sheets. So if you don't want the whole pack, but why wouldn't you? It's gorgeous. You can just buy the sheets that you want and get a bunch of different packs and different themes because they're gorgeous, and use them. And this is such great cardstock. It never cracks on me. It's just beautiful. All right, so we're gonna add that here as a little accent. Use up every bit. Just like I did on the other one. If you wanted, you could make that an extra tuck for something, wrap around, and like a belly band. Okay, and so this is gonna glue on here. Oh, I love all the bugs. maybe you don't love bugs. This is getting glued down completely, but again, you could use it as a tuck. You could hide something under there if you wanted. I don't know what, but I'll leave that up to you. And then the other part stays freestanding because that's the part that opens, right? Okay, and we will line this up and glue it down. I just want to make sure that side is straight. There we go. So you can see, especially if you make these out of without using a template, you could definitely make these for craft fairs. And then if you made this a rectangle, you could put like a circle here and use that as part of your closure. All right, so that's that. Now we have to make the cover for our actual passwords here. And what I did was I did pages back and front. So I fed them through one side of my printer and then I flipped them because mine does not do double-sided printing. If yours does, you are a lucky bug. And, oh, I don't need a trimmer for this. Sorry. No, we're just folding these in half. So I think I did like 6 or 8 of them. You can do as many or as few as you like. And we do want them to be half folds. Like so. Okay. I'm going to fold up the rest. I'll be right back. Okay, and then, so these are all folded up in half. We're going to make our cover. So I want to use this beautiful piece for my cover. And we're going to measure it 9 across by 11 1/4 long. And the reason I did that size is because my US letter size is 8.5 by 11, and I wanted to do a 1/4 inch all the way around. Now, if your paper is a different size and you want to leave a little border, you can do it a little different. But these are US letter size. You could print them on the A4. You would just have to figure your measurement for a little border here. And I'm also going to round my corners of these. My ink was doing something very strange. I said, don't print in color, and it gave me blue ink. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. All right, so let me do the rest of these. I'm going to cut out my cover, and then I will be right back. All right, so these are done, and I'm going to sew them together, and you'll see here that on this one, I did a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, and I just tied it on the inside and put some of these circles to kind of dangle off one of the accents from the quick card kit. If you didn't want to do the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, you could simply wrap your twine around the inside. These pages would move around a little, so if the person you're giving it to has any kind of you know, issues or, you know, what am I trying to say? Motor skills issue, you may want to make sure that you sew it in. But you could certainly just wrap around the outside. And I'm going to use this. This is the piece I'm using, so I'll just demonstrate. But then I'm going to sew mine in. You can just put it in here and then just wrap your twine this way so you don't have to sew and just tie a knot in the middle. You could also just do 2 holes and it would also hold it really well. But I am going to do 3 holes, and I'm going to use my awl to poke the holes, and I'm going to clip this in place to hold it tight. But I am going to measure. I have to go halfway down this page, which is 11, so I need to go 5.5. Sorry for the glare. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You could definitely eyeball it. And then I'm just going to come in an inch on the top and bottom. And so I just marked 3 holes there. Hopefully you saw that. Okay, and then I am going to clip them, but I'm going to center them on the page, or the cover rather, like so-ish. And then I fold them in so that the pieces are against this spine really tight. And then I clip them, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to make sure it's pressed down really tight against the spine while I have it folded like this. And then I'm just going to take my awl. Now you can use a book, which I recommend, under it to kind of poke your hole. And I'm going to start mine there, but then I'm going to fold it in half and keep my fingers out of the way and just kind of push my tool through. The reason I like to fold it in half is because then it centers my awl on the spine better, and so that's why I do that. All right, I'm doing the bottom hole now, and you're not going through a lot here. You could use a hole punch if you're just doing the top and bottom and not doing a middle, or if you have something that can get you to the middle, that's even better. Lucky yo. I'm going to leave it clipped. I'm going to get my string, and I'm going to use a needle here that has a sort of a large head on it. Just that's for me to see. I use the smaller one when I'm using a waxed thread, but I'm just going to use some embroidery floss for this. I think this is very accessible to everyone. And I'm just going to feed it through. We're going to go in through the middle from the inside of the journal. Okay, I do this on a lot of videos, and there's plenty of other creators out there who have done this. So, and I'm going to leave a tail on the inside, and I am going to clip it because I pull it through. And then I'm going to go up through the top, but you could go up through the bottom. It doesn't matter. You just got to go up through one of the other holes from the back side. And then let me give myself a little more string here. Okay, so in through there, up through the top, come all the way down to your other hole. Mine's at the bottom. Whoop. Took you for a ride there. You want to make sure you're not getting everything tangled. And then we're going to go back up through the center, and don't pierce your thread because it won't tighten. Simple, easy peasy. Put my stuff away here. Okay, and now we can take our clips off. And you just want to kind of play with this until it's tight. And then we want one on one side of the center and one side on the other of that center string. Like so. Pull everything taut and then tie a knot. And I like to tie a double knot. When I'm working with wax thread, that's more than enough. You might want to do a third. It's up to you. And you don't want to pull too tight because you don't want to tear. And then we can just cut it off. You can dangle it a little so we can put some fun stuff on there. If I can find my scissors. Not sure what I did with them. Oh, here they are. I like to do 2 different sizes. And so that is our cover, which will go in our book here, like so. And when you have these big, kind of images, sometimes we don't know what to do with them, but doing a cover like this is perfect. And we can still see our little mouse friends here in this beautiful window scene. Such a pretty kit, or paper pack rather. Okay, so that's that. I am going to put some circles on here. I'm going to use my 1 1/8 inch punch for that. Sorry for my reach there. And I'm just going to go back because I think I might have some pieces here I can get. As long as it fits inside the punch. All right, I may have to go over here. I'm going to need 4. And I could certainly get one of these images. And I got the ladybugs on this one. So I could do the red on one side and then do these on the other. So I'm just going to take the ones where I want the red on the outside. And I'm going to put a little glue on there. I'm going to take the end of this and just place it on there. Of course, it's going to be everywhere. Now, usually it just sticks, and I don't have to go through this. Sorry, guys. Cameras and video. Okay. Take the one that I want to show the element and attach that to the other, and then just line them up. Press, press, press. Yeah, it's the embroidery floss that's giving me the issue. Just wants to stick right away. Okay. If you have like a heart punch, or I have some dragonfly punches and butterfly punches, you could punch 2 of those out and glue them together also. That would be fun. So that is our center. And this part is done. And we'll go back to this. I had a pocket that I put here, but because this picture is so darned cute, I don't want to cover up the mice. So I think what I'm going to do is for my notepad, I'll give you a couple of options. In this one, I had a repeating pattern, so I didn't mind. I took another accent piece of paper and I made this pocket, which is about 4 inches by 5.5, or 4.5, 5.5. 5, I'm sorry, 5. And so I cut a little notch out of there and decorated it with that embossing, but that means I would cover up these mice, and I already covered up the kitty cat, so I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back this accent piece, and I'm going to cut this strip off. You could certainly use any part of this to do this. So, but since this is here, I want to use it. We're going to make like a belly band, and that's what we're going to put our notebook through. Okay, so this piece can just lay across here, and then our back of our notepad will go through it. So this is the notepad I made for this one. And so we'll just take this back and kind of put it through, and it can rest on the belly band. Maybe we need to go up a bit for that. Okay, like that. The other thing you can do, and actually I think that's what I'm going to do, is you can create some, put some Velcro dots on here and then put them down here. And I'm going to use clear ones so they won't be as visible. This way I don't lose any of this design. So let's do our notepad. And for that, I'm going to use this printable, which is 8.5 by 11. I'm just going to cut it down the middle. And then I might cut a hair off of the side. Actually, let me do that first. So I'm going to cut like a 1/4 inch off the side. This way, when I cut it down the middle, it looks more even. My printer does white borders, which you can't see because this is white. And so the actual image is centered with white borders. If you can print borderless, this probably won't be an issue for you because it'll be a little more even, but here we are. And so then this is going to be 8, so I want to cut it on 4 because I cut a 1/4 inch off of each side and it was 8.5. So that should center it for me for the most part. And that's important because I'm going to put these on top of each other. Like so. And if it's not perfect, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I am going to round the corners because I did that here. And then we're going to cut out this piece. Okay, so this is going to be, and you can adjust this a little if you'd want to, if you like have an image you want to show or something to some extent. So this one's 4 1/4 by 11 1/4 plus, let's say an inch. So let's say 12. So 4 1/4 by 12. And I'm going to use this piece for this. So I'm going to go 12 this way first, and we'll cut that piece off. This is gorgeous. So this will be the inside, and this will be the outside. Okay, 4 1/4. I think I'll go this way. There's more poppies on this side. And before I cut, let me just make sure we are good. Yes. Measure twice, cut once, right? And then I'm going to staple these together. I have my Tim Holtz tiny attacher here. So I'm just going to go close to the top. We're going to cover this. I don't know if gluing them together will be as ideal. You could sew across it if you wanted. And then I want to round these corners. All right, and to measure the fold over piece, I just kind of situate this on here and then see where I want it to land. This doesn't have to be precise science. I'm just going to, if my nails will cooperate, of course not. Okay, kind of fold this over. And I chose it so that the piece that was folded over would be this piece. I had thought about doing the birds, but they would be upside down. So just keep that in mind. All right, and then I just glue it. I just glue it in place. But you could put your piece over and put some holes punched through there and then feed some twine through there and tie it in a knot so that when the notes are done, you could just take this out and it's not glued down. But for demonstration purposes, and if you were making these quick for a craft fair, actually, let's use our Fabrifix glue. I'm going to put the glue on here. Just make sure everything's aligned. And then we'll just hold that for a second because this glue takes a little while to dry. We can also clamp it while we continue on here. And then, like I said, I'm just going to put some Velcro dots on this side so that it can hold it down. And I have some that are white, so I think they'll be a little less visible. I hope. But I thought I had clear and I don't. So we are just going to use these. Okay, this should be dry enough now. So that is like that. This flips up, and we'll just put these on the back. If you have a strip, that'll work too. And I like to add some glue to these because they're not as, I don't know, these little ones tend to lift a little more if I don't actually get some glue on them. And then when I go to separate the actual Velcro, it doesn't stay. If I can get my glue to cooperate, that would be great. How about you work with me, glue? There we go. All right, so that's that one. I'll put them up towards the top. And there's still my little piece of plastic there. So I'll take that off in a sec. Okay, we're going to let this dry, but eventually what I'll do is I'll take the plastic off, I'll put glue there, we'll line it up and press it down. But I'm going to let that dry really good while I finish up this piece here, which is super simple. We just have to find some pieces that we want to use. Let's put you over here. And I'm going to punch out a circle, and then I'm going to put one of these embossed die cuts over it. So my embossed die cut has to be smaller than my 2-inch punch, which is what I'm going to use to make my circle. We have the kitty cat. It can be slightly bigger, but it can't be too big. Because I don't want my string to catch on it too much. All right, maybe. What else do we have? Oh my goodness, look at the little puppy and the fox. Oh, I love them all. The snail. Oh, goodness. Oh, the mouse. I'm using the mouse. That was easy. It was going to be the mouse or the bird. Oh no, I tore his tail. All right, let's use, darn it. Okay, no worries. We got another mouse. We got a mouse in a vase. I can still use him. I want to make this, actually, no, I can use him. Sorry, guys, I'm all over the place. I thought I was going to have to, I wanted to make him dimensional, but he's not going to be dimensional. It's the other piece, so I can still use him. We're good. We're good. I just have to save his little tail. We'll keep you together, guy. Hopefully it grows back. And then I'm going to use, yeah, I think I'll just punch out this because it's pretty basic, you know? As far as a background, then the mouse will pop up more. All right, Mr. Mouse, come here. Sorry, guy. All right, so he is going to glue onto this piece. like so. With his tail. He's fine. He's fine. See, can't even tell. Well, you can tell because I told you. Okay, and then I'm going to punch out a bunch of strips of the 1/8 inch, or circles of the 1/8 inch. And nobody's going to see this, so I'm just going to use some cardstock that I have, and I'm going to do about 6. This is like an index weight cardstock. If you have some index cards, you can certainly use those. Nobody's going to see them. And what these are going to do is stack up to give me some space to wrap my twine around. So I'm just going to glue them all together, and you can certainly use more if whatever you're using to wrap up your journal is thicker. I'm sorry, is thicker. Get the words out. So all I'm doing is gluing them to make to give me some room there. Now I also have some craft foam that would work as well. If you have some foam tape, though, my fear with the foam tape is that sometimes it's tacky on the edges and that the twine you use might get stuck around it. But you see how it works for you. I think craft foam, like kitty craft foam, would work fine. But then I'm going to glue this into the center of that, and that just gives me enough lift so that when I'm twirling my twine around it to make the closure, it has somewhere to go. Otherwise, like this, you're constantly lifting it up, and but you guys will figure it out. We always have scraps, right? And then this is just going to glue on here, and that's what I'm going to wrap my twine around like I did on the other one. This one I had a piece from the quick cards, so I was able to use a bigger piece. This will just be a little smaller, but it's just as adorable. He's going to go right there. All right, so I need a piece to punch out to put on the edge here. Do I want to do that actually? Because I have this cute little ladybug. I think I did that on purpose, right? So we're not going to. We're just going to punch a hole for my twine. Oh, I think I can get it right on his dot. It's not perfectly centered, but it's adorable. And then I'm going to pull out some more of that red twine I used to wrap up the journal or tie up the journal. Okay, and so just eyeballing it. Yeah, that should be good. And I'm just going to feed, I folded it over, so I doubled it, and I'm just going to feed that through my hole. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this string through it. Pull that close. If you're not confident with that because you don't feel like it's going to be reinforced enough, then you can create a little reinforcer. And the way that I like to do them is I will take my mini hole punch Okay, and I will punch that, and then I have this, gosh, what size is this? 1/2 inch. And I will center that hole like so, and then you could put that on there as a reinforcement. But I wanted to see the ladybug. And we can put our little mouse on here. Hello, sir, ma'am, I don't know. I think a big red poppy would have worked too. And then you have some room here to decorate as well, right? We can put something in here. Where'd our little kitty cat go? Let's do the kitty cat since we covered this one up. We'll put that in there. You could do a little collage of all the bits. A little word sentiment might be fun. And I saw like a little butterfly too. I think that would be cute. Or this little bee. We'll do the little bee. Kind of flying off here. I think if I had moved him back a little, I could put a butterfly there, but we are here. Okay, so this is going to go, this is going to go in here. And then we have our notepad. And the glue is now dried. So I'm just going to peel off these other plastic pieces and glue this in. You can see there's a couple of different ways you could attach it. I want to be able to remove it so you could see the other side. But you could certainly make it permanent and just glue the back, to it. Okay, so those bits will dry for a few minutes. Otherwise, when I go to pull the Velcro up, it won't work. All right, but you can see now this will close. This will go around, and then it will wrap around the mouse. And I'm going to trim this and add some more circles here. And this time I am going to use some poppies, hopefully. That one. And that one. And then for the back side, I can just use maybe like that. And same thing as we did before. This needs to be just a bit shorter. Like so. All right, and so we have our back. You could put like a row of the die cuts there if you wanted to. And there's some room in here where you could also decorate or leave a sentiment with a little note. And then this opens. You have your password keeper here, very discreet. Nobody knows what it is, unless they open it, obviously. And then this pad is stuck in here, so you can put another one in there if you wanted to. We got our little friend there. And then this closes up. And so that is password keeper number 1. And I want to make one in the smaller size. So if you want to stick around for that, I'm going to do that next. And again, that was just using this Poppy Garden 12 by 12 paper collection. This SKU is 34620. And I use the die cuts, which is 34665. But they have quick card packs for these too. If you want to go to their website, it's paperrose.com.au. All right. For this, I thought it would be fun to use these. So I have this Botanical Memories. This one is SKU 32127. This is the 12 by 12 paper collection. And then I have the Flower Shop papers already. So I did order these embossed die cuts for the Flower Shop tags and tickets to kind of go with it. And this one has some circles in it. So let's see how, I haven't made the letter size. I made the templates for it, but I don't have a sample to show you. But this one is going to fold this way. Okay, so it's going to hold these passwords this way so you can make a smaller one instead of the taller one. And these are part of the free templates too. And so I just need, oh, I love this bird. I think we'll use this as the cover for this. And then this one, okay. So this one I need, it's not going to wrap around. I'm going to need 2 pieces. And so I need to cut the cover first, and then I'm going to, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to need, so this will be the cover, and it can fit, yeah. All right, so let me cut off this. And I have 2 pieces of this, so first I'm going to cut it down to 12. Actually, it doesn't have to be 12. It can be a little taller than this, which is going to be, where's my other ruler? Here we go. This is going to tuck in, and this is going to be, is this going to be the cover of my keeper or the cover of the whole thing? I think this will be the cover of the whole thing. So I'm going to go with about 9.5. So let me first cut off the trim piece, and then I'll trim it down to 9.5 because I don't want to lose my bird. So go this way. To 9.5. And then let's see. So this piece will tuck inside. So this is going to need its own cover. And this will be the outside. And I am going to need a piece to kind of where it's going to tuck. So I'm just going to use this piece I cut off. All right, and I'll trim that to 9.5. Okay, and then this is at 12, so let me score it at 6. Okay, so this is our main cover. And then the piece that I cut off is where we will tuck in our actual password keeper, which will get its own cover. Okay, it's starting to make sense now. Hopefully. It's not quite making sense to me yet, but all right, that's all right. That's to be expected. How about the teacups? Ooh, we have this too. I like the teacups. Ooh, that's fun. Okay, so this will be the cover to my actual Password Keeper book. Let's finish this one up first. So I'm just going to glue this. Let me trim it first. I want to make rounded corners. Let's do that first. And then we can glue it down. And do a little less rounded this time. We're working with a little less space, so just using the smaller size. Okay, and then I love that bird. Hello, friend. This can glue in here. So that turned out to be 2.5 by 9.5. And so once this is covered, this will sit in here. Okay, so you want a scant amount of glue around that edge. And let's find, so this is going to be 8.5 by 5.5. So I'm going to do this 6 by 7. Let's see how that, actually that's too big. So 5 3/4 by 6 3/4. Wait, no, that's wrong. Pay me no mind. It's the reality of working out measurements. 9, and it's got a double, so I want it just a hair less. So this is 5.5. So maybe that's 11.5. So I got to take a 1/2 inch off this way. Is that right? No, it's got to be 11.5 this way. Okay, so my paper is directional. And then I'm cutting off the bottom. I think I said 9. So 11.5 by, 9's too big. Let's go 8 3/4. So 8 3/4 by 11.5, and that means I need to do 5 3/4 on the score. All right. That didn't take very long at all, not. All right, so this one is going to go in here. And then let me just make sure. Yeah, and then that will slide in here. Are we still going to be able to close it? Yes, we will. Yeah, be very scant where your glue here. Okay. So we have this. I do want to round all my corners. All right, so now I got some cardstock out that I thought would complement this, and I think I'm going to use that as my piece, and I'm going to use this smaller template. I don't know, which one do I like better? It's going to cover up the bird a little in this case, which is fine. It'd be like a little peekaboo. I'm okay with that. It'll kind of be like that. And so I think I like the lighter one. All right, so I'm just going to cut this out. I'll be right back. I'm just going to use the smaller. This isn't the smallest. This is the second to smallest one. Okay, so we have this, and it is going to cover the bird a bit. I'm okay with that. It'll be like a little happy surprise when it's opened. And I'm just folding it over a little. And this will go like this as a way to keep it closed. Now, you could use a second piece of this paper and just cut this out in a way so that it matches right up to that bird if you are that creative. Not that I'm not, but I have to do a video, so here we are. Okay, let's sew this into place. And I think for this one, I'm just going to do 2 holes that I'm going to punch with my hole punch. I just want to make sure it's all lined up here. This is my 1/8 inch punch, but you could use your awl again. Where do I want it? Actually, I'm going to use the awl. It's just easier. Sorry. And I'm just eyeballing this one. But I would say 1 inch would work, 1 inch up from each side. And I'll grab my twine. All right, I have this cotton twine. It's like a neutral color. Just going to feed it through my needle here. Embroidery floss would work fine. So I'm just going to go in through the bottom and up through the top. This one's a little smaller, so I'm not that worried about it. And then I can just tie it in a bow in the middle. I don't want to waste it, so. Or a knot. Certainly feel free to do the 3-hole pamphlet stitch as well. Not super tight. I needed an extra set of hands, but you get the idea. Okay, and then this one is going to pop in here and are a little tight. It's fine. Just work with it. And then this is going to go over the top. And for this one, I am going to do a little reinforcement. Oop, wrong way. Here. I'll glue it on and then I'll punch my hole through it. And I'm going to decorate it with one of those pieces from the flower shop, Tags and Tickets. But this is glued on. I'm just going to, now that I know where my hole is going, punch through. Like so. And I can glue this in place now. Oop, this way. And this one has some words on it, so I'm just seeing think one of these would look better on this side than a strip, just a strip, because there's some sentiments here that work. And the bloom where you are planted, I think, works beautifully. This is so pretty. And I love the idea of a password keeper. As much as we are told, you know, we're in a digital age, I think I know a lot of people who want to keep their passwords away from their computer. So I'm just going to figure out what I need here. And then put that through here. Might have to shorten it a bit. Okay. So this one's going to go there. And now what do I want on here? So many bits. Forever and always. Oh, it's a beautiful story. I do love this one. That fit. It's kind of big. Okay, what else do we have? Forever and always. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with the butterfly. And this time I'll use some craft foam, but I wanted to show you the other option in case you didn't have craft foam, you know. Just, it's really thin, and I get a ton of sheets for nothing from Hobby Lobby. And then I'm just going to glue that to the back. And this holds with my art glitter glue, PVA mix. And just seeing if there's something I could put up here. There's these gorgeous butterflies. You could do one of those or two. I don't know, it seems like it's taking away from that. So I'm going to hold off on that. On the inside, we have our notepad, right? So I'm going to do the same thing to this one that I did with the other one, where I'm just going to cut about 1/4 inch off of each side. And so that will give me 10 1/2, and I can cut that down the middle at 5 1/4. I'm kind of proud of myself doing math in my head. It's early here. So I am kind of proud. Watch, it won't line up. Okay. And this one I am going to do a pocket. So let's pick, did I have any more cutoffs on this? I don't know that I did. Okay, let me pick out a different piece. Okay, there's these pretty botanicals, and I can probably get this. And so I want it to be This is about 6. I think I'm going to cut the pocket to 5 3/4. And I'm going to go up to 4. So 4 by 5 3/4. 5 3/4 is this way. And I said 4. And I don't want to cut off my flower too much, so maybe trim some off the top. Here we go. And I am just going to put a little notch with my envelope punch. Now, this came in my envelope maker kit. And then I need to round this one. I'll leave this one straight. And that can fit right in there. It's going to be, yeah. Make sure the size is going to fit. And then maybe we'll use the rest of that paper to do the back for our notepad. Okay, we want this really tight. So what did I say that was? 5 3/4. So can we do 5 1/2? Yes. But I think I'm going to try to do 1, 2, 5 3/8. Just because I have some glue around that pocket, you know. Let me get this off the top first. 10. I'm going to go down 10. So it's going to be 10 high by 5 3/8 wide. Thereabouts. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can trim it to fit your pocket. All right, and then I'm going to round these and round my notepad pages. Yeah, when you try to do one piece of copy paper, it never works out. Okay, same thing. I'm going to staple the top. But again, same, you could sew through it or whatever works for you. And then and glue it. If you want these to be easy to tear out, the pages, you can glue both sides like this, and it won't move as much, and it's a little easier to tear the pages. You know, like, then the back's not flipping up on you while you're trying to pull. So you could also put some greeting cards in there. So if you make cards, you could just tuck some cards in there for your recipient, like thank you cards that are pre-made. Okay, I'm gonna have to re-glue that. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's very tight, so you might want to go just a little bigger on your envelope if you can. All right, and then we have this top portion, and it's kind of sort of upside down, so I think I'm going to use one of these accents on the top there. This one says, "Let your dreams blossom." And these are all part of that flower shop tags and tickets. And so that'll fit in there. You have some room here where you could put a piece of blank paper and write a sentiment to whoever you're giving this to. There we go. And this is our second one. And we can just punch out some circles. I think I'll use this one. And then I'll see if I can find some of these smaller butterflies to put on the one side. I think that'll look pretty. This cardstock is Hobby Lobby. And this punch is 1 1/8. So same thing like we did with the other one. You guys know. You know. You're already 3 steps ahead. Probably made 10. You're all ready for your craft fair. And I'm still gluing paper together. It's okay. It's okay. And this one. There's these little bitty butterflies. So let's get this one. And we will glue him to this side. Like so. How pretty. And it complements this butterfly too. And we have a smaller one and a bigger one. So that'll work for here. My air conditioner is gurgling. Sorry for that. And there we go. So this one is also done. And it was quick. It can go quicker. The more you make, the faster it will go for you guys. You know, the more you're learning, the process is a little slower. But here are our 2 lovely makes from today, the taller and the shorter. I think these would be perfect for a craft fair, honestly. If you had these in all different papers and stuff, they would catch people's eyes, and you could put anything in it. I did them as password keepers, which I think are under seen at craft fairs. And you could just have all different papers. People would be like, "Oh, what are these?" And we all have somebody who's keeping everything offline. This might fit better if I just put the back cover in. Definitely should have made that a little bigger. But I think we all have somebody who likes to keep their passwords offline. But you could also make these as card cozies, right? So you could put your cards in there. And I have important numbers and notes, but if you're handy with Canva, you could just put addresses and do a little address book, and that would work as well. And how fun are they? And they're going to go together quick, but I hope you had fun. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, consider subscribing. We do a lot of fun paper crafting and junk journaling. And I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day or night. Bye!